you have the power to change the world. No, really, you do. When's the last time you made a loved one laugh or made a stranger smile? In those moments of making someone feel loved or cared for, you effectively change their world. Now, I have a silly question. Do you remember that pinky promise we used to make as a kid? That was the law. And if we didn't fulfill that promise, then the parents got involved and we got in big trouble. I believe the biggest risk anyone can ever take is to not take one. So I'd like to do something risky and make you a pinky promise. I promise that by the end of this presentation, with your help, we can change the world together. So do we have a deal? If we do, then I have a question for you. Have you ever seen the video of when Steve Jobs released the first iPhone? It wasn't until I was blessed with the idea of #help back in August of 2016 that I truly understood what Mr. Jobs meant when he said, "This is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years. Every once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything." And just like Mr. Jobs, who is excited to share his new revolutionary product with the masses, a phone that as of 2016 over 500 million people now own and use, I too am very excited to share another revolutionary product with you. I present to you today #help. #help is a result of over a decade of research when it comes to what exactly the different state and stages of poverty are, what poverty looks like, and most importantly, how we can work together to end it in and around our neighborhoods. At its core, #help is a communication network that connects those in need with those who can help in such a way that allows for sharing each individual's need with the public without sharing their identities, effectively letting people share their needs with their neighborhoods while staying anonymous. If you've ever been in need, then you'd agree that asking for help is one of the hardest things to do because of pride. We're worried and scared about what our neighbors, friends, or family would think if we needed help. But in the end, does it really matter? Does it matter if your sister, mother, or brother really knew that you needed help? Isn't that what family is for? However, in order for #help to work, we need host churches. That is, groups or organizations to start listening to the specific need or needs in and around their neighborhoods. If we have the technology to land a man on the moon, shouldn't we have the technology to abolish poverty? There's no one organization that has the resources to house the nearly 200,000 homeless here in the Chicagoland area. There's no one organization that has enough food to feed the 50 million hungry people throughout our country. And there's no one organization that has the resources to employ all 100 million unemployed people around our country. I find it almost impossible that with 200 groups and organizations, over 200 groups and organizations, within less than an hour's drive from my house, they can't work together to make a dent in the homeless problem we have here around us. I find it almost impossible that these over 200 groups and organizations, 298 to be exact, can't feed the hungry men, women, and children around their neighborhoods. And I find it absolutely appalling and heartbreaking that these groups and organizations cannot agree on the best solution to fight poverty when you and I can. Simply speaking, can we all agree that the best solution for homelessness is to shelter the homeless? Can we agree the best solution to fight hunger is to feed the hungry? #help is a communication network that connects digital missionaries with the ability to identify the different states and stages of poverty throughout the neighborhoods around them, all while using the Digital Missionary Reporting System, or DMRS for short. Now, most people who can hear my voice also have the ability, in some way, shape, or form, to communicate digitally, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter, email, or text messaging. Back in the 50s and 60s, what we had was a party line. Party lines provided no privacy in communication. They were frequently used as an entertainment source and gossip, as well as a means of quickly alerting entire neighborhoods of emergencies such as fires and tornadoes. In the early 80s and 90s, there were cell phones, and that was big. As long as you can carry the pack with you, you can make a phone call from wherever you had coverage, which wasn't really near anything like we have today. But now we live in the digital age. Technology has become so simple that my 4-year-old nephew knows how to take selfies using my phone. Why can't we use that very same technology so simple a 4-year-old can understand, to change the world together? through a single text message. Can we change the world together right here, right now? If you believe we then can I ask you to pull out your phone right now? For those who are listening, pull out your phone, open your favorite text messaging app, and enter the phone number 708-586-7565. So it should look like this. Type out the message #DMRS, and if everything looks like it does on the screen, go ahead and hit send. Now, while we're waiting on a reply from the Digital Missionary Reporting System, I have to ask you, do you know what a missionary is? As silly as this question sounds, can you put your thumb on what it means to be a missionary? Well, according to the Oxford Dictionary, a missionary is defined as a person sent out on a religious mission, especially one sent to promote Christianity in a foreign country. And now you probably look like this. Yeah. The question I want you to ask is, what is that mission? For us to really understand this definition, we need to take some context clues. For Christians, I believe our most important mission is found in Acts 1:8. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in Judea and in all of Samaria and to the ends of the earth. These were Jesus' last words, and I have to believe they were pretty important. Jesus says we're his witnesses to give his testimony of who he was and what he does, which leads us to our next question. What is a witness? Can I get a witness? Can we agree that we're witnessing, can we agree that when we're witnessing, whether for or against someone, we're giving our testimony of our account with that individual or in that event? If we're witnessing a crime, we're usually giving our testimony to a cop or a judge. If we're witnessing at a wedding, you're there to verify that it actually happened. We're there to witness a very important day in two people's lives that will leave them forever changed. So what does it mean to be a witness for Jesus? I'd like to think it's obeying his most important commandment. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. Jesus is very specific as to what the most important commandment is. So what better way to be witnesses for Christ if not through our actions? Jesus sought the needy, he sought out the broken, the hungry, the sick, and I believe we as Christians and people in general should be doing the same thing as digital missionaries, using the Digital Missionary Reporting System, or DMRS, to help fulfill the needs of those in and around our neighborhoods. Wherever you are, wherever you can hear this at, that neighborhood is the neighborhood I'm talking about. The DMRS is then monitored and managed by host churches in and around the area that the need is reported. So if you report it wherever you're at, well, there needs to be a host church somewhere near you. What is a host church? Well, a host church, before we go any further, I want to make something very clear. I'm Christian, but that doesn't necessarily mean you are. I write this presentation in hopes that I could connect different groups and organizations looking to do the same thing: fight poverty together. I use the words host church and digital missionary to describe features of #help, not to endorse Christianity. Yes, I hope everyone I share the gospel with will one day come to the cross of salvation, but that's my belief, not yours. I use these words because they're part of my vocabulary. They're part of my vernacular. They're part of who I am. Now, when you think of the word mom, would you picture a supportive woman figure in our lives? Our first cheerleaders, our first hug, our first death trap of a bicycle? Yeah, love you, Mom. And as much crap as we put them through, they really never leave our sides. Sometimes these people are just related. Sometimes these people are related to us, and sometimes they're not. But before I digress any further, have you heard back from the DMRS yet? If not, this is the URL for the form that we're going to be looking at today. However, before we look at the form, I want you to entertain the following idea: negative poverty. It almost sounds like an oxymoron. And before you dismiss the idea, I'd like you to also think about this one too. What is wealth? Isn't it by definition to have stuff? Wouldn't the opposite of having something is, well, not to have something? And what's another word for not having something? Poverty. Well, consider poverty to have two different active states. Positive or negative, having or needing. If you have poverty, then you're not wealthy, right? In the same regard, would being wealthy mean you don't have poverty? That is, you don't have a lack of resources that you need in order to survive. With that said, can we agree that we have a bunch of stuff? Sometimes we have so much stuff we don't know what to do with it. Why not offer it up to those in need? So let's change the world together right now by offering something we don't need to somebody who might. If you can give, please select give. However, if you can't give, if you feel like you've given until you've got nothing left and you're running on empty, please select the need option and click next. This is the core of the digital missionary reporting system. What state of poverty are you currently in? Can you give, or do you have a need? Once we can establish this, once we can establish the state of poverty, then we need to know where the need or the surplus is. Before we can fix a need or fill a need, we need to know where our resources are and where that need is. Is the need next door, down the block, across the country? What better way to organize it than by an already established organization system that everyone is part of? Zip codes. The next important piece of information we need in order to tackle the problem of poverty is what stage of poverty is the current request in. In my 10 years of research, I've discovered 5 different stages of poverty: safety, shelter, food, clothing, and employment. We all need somewhere safe to stay. We all need a roof over our head. We all need some sort of sustenance, food, water, etc. We all need warm clothing for these terrible winters that we have here in Chicago, and we all need some sort of income. Most of all, we cannot do everything ourselves. So we need more, different, or other resources, and in other words, we need help. Thirdly, we have message. This one's easy. Tell me about your need or your surplus that you're donating, without giving personal information. This is a field that will be on the public side of the DMRS, and I will explain that further later. If you're donating a shirt or pants, what size is it? Is it a man's, woman's? What color is it? This would be the information you would input there. Maybe you need a winter jacket for you or someone you love. So what size are you? What size are they? Maybe you'd like to give your time at a food pantry and help pass out meals to those in need. Whatever the case may be, this is that area that you would put that information in. After we've selected what state of poverty our need is in, or our giving falls under, and after we've left a small message describing our need, let's go ahead and hit next. Now we need some way to stay in contact. While using the DMRS as a form, the one you see here, you need to provide either an email or a phone number in order for us to stay in contact about your need or the gift you'd like to give somebody else. Makes sense, right? This is only one way to report a need to the digital missionary reporting system, and it's great for those who text, or for those who don't, rather. However, we don't always have access to mobile data, because sometimes the only way to communicate with someone is through text messaging. If you're following along but you haven't been able to connect with the DMRS, fear not. The simplicity in this system is that you can still report the state of poverty around you via a single text message. Like before, open up your favorite text messaging app and start a new text message to #help, the phone number being 708-586-7565. But instead of sending #DMRS, we're going to send the following. #zip code, your zip code. #the specific state of poverty, space. #the different stage of poverty, space. #MSG, not the stuff in food. And then your description of that need or that surplus. Now, as complicated as this text looks, it's pretty straightforward. In order to fill a need, we need to know where it's at. In the case of my example, it's 60465. Next is the state of poverty, which is either #have or #need. In my example, I'm doing #have. After which, we add which stage of poverty we're talking about. In the case of my example again, it's hashtag employment. And lastly, hashtag MSG. And again, not the bad stuff in the food, or description of what someone has or what they need. In this case, I'm looking to work, hence the hashtag employment tag, towards the same goal as you, ending poverty. I know this is strange, but imagine the first cars, or the first light bulb, or the first Mac, or the first cell phone. These were all strange pieces of technology until they were picked up by society, people like you. After you submit your need through the digital missionary reporting system, it goes to a database that kind of looks like this, which then makes you look like this again. The purpose of host churches is to monitor, report, and fulfill the needs of their neighborhood, just like churches, mosques, and organizations that are already doing this. What makes hashtag help different and helps equip the organizations already in place is that I've developed a way to publish the needs, not the identities of the needs, to a publicly viewable list that anyone can see. Sort of like this. This is the digital missionary reporting system that people can see when they visit hashtag help. Consider this the public side of poverty. Let me be very clear. This is pre-alpha stage of development. This is the very first revision and very first interface of the system. I know it's not pretty, but it does show the basic information about a need in your area. And it's broken up into 5 different segments. Entry number, zip code, a brief description of what the need is, then date, and finally time. While doing research into both speaking and presentation work, I came across Nancy Duarte. She's an American writer and speaker and CEO who found an algorithm to a successful presentation. In that presentation, she says this: "You are not the hero who will save the audience. The presentation audience is your hero." With that said, can I ask you a question? Can we look at those needs and see if we can be heroes together? Entry 6 reads, 41-year-old father of 3. Had a stroke last year and am on disability. My wife works as much as her job will let her, but not as much as our bills need her to. Willing to work, just need an opportunity to do so. And we can see a zip code there. Entry number 7 reads, 65-year-old Vietnam veteran looking to serve homeless people through a paid position. Bills are becoming overwhelming and I need your help. Entry number 8 reads, an alumni grad looking for work in finance in order to compensate for loss of work from landscaping. Will move if necessary for employment. The next one reads, complete reconstruction of a few teeth. Heavily weighs on my self-confidence not being able to smile or show my teeth. And this would be classified under need and an extra option I'm coming up with called resources, a feature I'm currently implementing. And finally, entry number 12 reading, looking for a job. Package handler, cashier, anything. Can travel by bus system only. Need a place to stay also. Now this is pretty simple, right? With a host church at the helm, I can create filters and triggers that people of different host churches can elect to listen for, since that's kind of what they're doing already. However, hashtag help organizes those need requests. We know a lot of people that are hungry. We know a lot of people that need a job. We know a lot of people that are homeless. We know a lot of people that are food insecure. We know a lot of people that are in abusive relationships. The statistics do not lie. It's scary to think that 1 in 7 people go to bed hungry in this country. I know more than 7 people. Chances are one of those people go to bed hungry. Hashtag help gives a voice to the voiceless, a home to the homeless, food for the hungry, clothing for the naked, and jobs to those who want to work. However, as nice as all of this sounds, it will not work without your help. But what does that help look like? I need your help finding those in need. I need your help finding those hungry and hopeless in and around our neighborhoods. I need your help finding those who are trapped in abusive relationships, and I need your help finding warm clothes for those without. I need your help finding clothes for those going for job interviews who don't have anything presentable to wear. And I need your help to find businesses hiring so we can put our 100 million unemployed back to work. Can we tear down the walls of difference between our religions and political standings and agree that we've had enough poverty? Can we agree enough is enough? Can we agree to work together and end poverty in our lifetime? We have the technology to do it. We just need to help each other out. Thank you.
I hope you didn't get too quiet there.